10 signs you're finally breaking the cycle of chasing emotional unavailable men. You are not playing the victim. Instead of saying, oh, poor me, why am I so unlucky? Why are men so terrible? Why am I being mistreated by men? Why do you keep attracting emotional unavailable, married, taken, toxic relationships? Why does this keep happening? Instead, you recognize that as a woman, you'll have incoming traffic. You have the power to choose what kind of relationships you let into your life, what kind of men you let into your life. I think in my book, Why Am I Still Single book for women, I say something like, I have an experience of attracting unavailable guys for a decade. But you know, when I really look into that, it's not quite true, because the truth is I attracted all kinds of guys, but I chose maybe the one that is unavailable, maybe the one that is toxic, and maybe you are in that situation. So I think you have to be careful not to make this part of your identity, as now you are a woman who only attracts emotionally unavailable men. If you believe that you are someone who only attracts these kind of men, then you will behave in that kind of way, and I just don't think it's very smart. So when you finally feel that, you know what, I'm on the right track, I can see things are shifting for me, I can see things are changing for me, and the kind of people that I attract, very often it's because you also are taking responsibility for your actions. You don't want to be in this victim's mentality, you want to feel empowered. And maybe the next action that you'll be choosing is to subscribe to this channel, which would make me very, very happy. You are not looking for special signs that you belong together. He sends you a message and maybe it's 11 minutes past 11, or maybe he sends you a voice note. The length of a voice note is 2 minutes 22, and you start thinking, angel numbers, we belong together. Or maybe you are going to a certain place and then you bump into him accidentally. Tell me in the comments if you ever been in that situation. I remember this thing happened to me actually more recently than I would like to admit. I think it's very, very embarrassing. But you know what? When these things happen, sometimes you have to approach it with a smile. Look at it with a bit of humor and not just like, oh, poor me. I was talking to this guy and he mentioned this place. I've never been at this place before. It's a restaurant, or let's call it a restaurant. And then I'm watching this movie. I've seen this movie many, many times. And then boom, I can see the name of this restaurant in one of the scenes. And of course I'm thinking, maybe maybe it's a sign, maybe it's a sign. And you know, for a moment I was like, maybe it's a sign. Soon after that I did a bit of digging and I found out that he's probably not as available as he's trying to put himself out there. So I was like, okay, mission abort. We will not be pursuing this shiny object. We are moving along. Sign number 3 that you're finally breaking the cycle of chasing emotional unavailable men is that you are not turned on by flakiness. Maybe you've been in this situation, you probably have if you're watching this video. He says, I'll take you out on Friday night. Maybe you keep that opening for him, maybe even planning an outfit, maybe you even bought a new outfit. He doesn't even follow up and he doesn't even say that, look, my plans have changed. In the past it would have been, oh yeah, it's fine, and then you see his name pop up at 11 p.m. Are you still awake? And in the past you would have played along and you would have been like, yes, I want to be part of this, whatever you call this situation. But now you kind of find it a bit disrespectful and you are put off by this behavior and you are thinking, no, you know what? I want more and I don't want to be treated like that. I like when a man follows up. I like when a man says that he's going to do something and he actually does. I'm not into this whole flaky, hot and cold, chasing toxic people situation. I don't want to do that anymore. And yes, you may still find yourself in a situation that maybe you're talking to more than one guy at the same time, and then this one guy who shows you the least attention, you will find waiting for his message a bit more. But I can guarantee, if you just give it a bit of time, you will realize, you know what? I'm actually not that attracted to that anymore. And even if you find that you're still quite attracted to that, you will see that this window of for how long you're attracted to that, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And trust me, as the time goes by, it will get like so teeny tiny. Trust me, this window will get so teeny tiny, and then you'll get into the situation where the window is still there, but you don't want to jump anymore. This all will make sense later, I promise. Keep watching. You take your time to get to know him. Have you ever been in a situation where you went on only one date with this guy and you are declaring to your girlfriend's group, to your family chat group, saying, I may have found the one, don't book the wedding venue just yet, but this is something very, very special. Keep in mind, you're making this judgment based on this very tiny piece of information that you have, based on this representative that you met on the first date. However, when you finally start making better choices in your relationships, you take your time. You take your time to get to know someone. You let them show you their true colors. You let them show how consistent they are. Are they able to deliver on what they promise? Or are they just empty promises? Are they trying to portray themselves in a certain way, but then their actions and behavior is telling you something completely different? One of the best things about taking a bit more time to get to know someone is that you are not getting so invested so quickly, and you allowing yourself to see, is he's really interested? Is he this massive action taker because he's really interested in you as a person, or does he just want to sleep with you? Sign number 5 that you are on the right track of breaking the cycle of attracting and chasing unavailable men is that you spot manipulative behavior early on. I'm a very loving, compassionate, caring person, and in the past I would be in these situations where I would attract people, those where I feel that I can heal them, I can fix them. And when I look back, when I take all the jigsaw pieces apart, I can see certain similarities that these people have. I still remember years ago, I was seeing this guy and then we stopped talking to each other because it was just this hot and cold toxic behavior. He was very emotional and available. Then I found out he was not even available, full stop. He was taken and I was the other woman. You can find videos on my channel where I talk about that. And I remember I finally made a decision, okay, I'll never see him again. Then I bumped into him, and one of the first things that he said was, he showed this wound that he had, and he's like, oh, you know, I injured myself. And at that point, when he was doing that, bing, he's hurt, little kitten, poor little kitten, let me shield you, let me help you. When you are in a situation where you're finally thinking, I am actually the most important person. And if I haven't seen you for a while and you don't even want to ask me how I'm doing, instead you're going for 15 minutes talking about your injury or whatever and be like, look at me, poor me. However, if you keep doing the work, if you keep learning things, as the time goes by, you start getting put off by someone who is manipulating you because you just think, I don't know, this just doesn't feel right. And instead of being really drawn towards that, who's like, oh, I'm a victim, lick my wounds, you just, no, why would you do that? No, you want to protect yourself from that instead. You notice how you and your body respond to him. You stopped looking for a man where you're only getting butterflies and you're getting all this excitement that is making your knees feel weak. Instead, what you really want is you want to feel peaceful around this person. You want to feel that you can be yourself. You want to feel that you don't have to filter your words and your opinions. You don't have to filter yourself when you are sharing your future vision and what you would like. Because the thing is that when you are with someone who is emotional and available, very often you end up walking on eggshells and you feel this tension in your body because you are not able to be who you are. You can't openly share what you are thinking, how you are feeling, because you never know what may set him off just like that, out of nowhere, which is something I spoke about in this video here. You are also able to notice how your mood changes based on, for example, how often he texts you, how often he calls you, takes you out. And instead of letting this rule your life, you tune into that and you're like, okay, I can see how my mood changes. You kind of become curious about that and you wonder, am I getting this excited because I'm just really excited to hear from him and feel great when he asks me how my day is going? Or am I really excited to hear from him because I never know when I'm going to hear from him next? He's never really consistent with his communication. He's never really consistent when it comes to making plans. So you are getting into this place where you are able to notice how your mind and your body respond to this person. You are not chasing unavailable love. When you meet someone and they tell you that they're figuring out their relationship goals, they're not really sure what they're looking for, they want to see how it goes, maybe they don't want to have children, instead of thinking, oh, I will change their mind because they will see how great I am, I can change their mind, I'm this magical wizard that can just change men, change everything, change destiny, I can do this. Instead of thinking that, you listen and you don't go out of your way chasing someone who is unavailable. Now the thing is that you will still be drawn towards that. If you're someone that has a lot of experience of being with emotional unavailable men, maybe even taken, maybe even abusive relationships, you will be drawn towards them. I had this instance quite recently actually. It's raw, very raw. I was watching this podcast, I don't want to tell you who, and as I'm watching this podcast, I'm like, I'm not really, it was about nutrition. I'm into nutrition, but I could see that I was listening very, very attentively, and then as I was listening, I caught myself looking at this man's mouth. I caught myself really staring at this man's mouth, and I know what it means when you're staring at someone's mouth. You are probably sexually attracted to that person. Now, if you're staring at my mouth now, please click like. Anyway, I'm looking at his mouth and I can see, oh, I am actually attracted to him. And then through the podcast, I also find out that he's single. I was like, ooh, single. Maybe I could slide into his DMs. Maybe you could be my baby daddy. And then as the conversation evolves, he actually tells his career and everything in life, it's everything great, but one area that he struggles is his relationships, because he struggles committing. He was in a really great relationship with someone. Sadly, it had to end because he wasn't in a place to commit, and that's one of his struggles. And as I was listening to that, I caught myself thinking that, wow, back in the day, I would have probably chased this, and I would have thought that I am this unicorn that can change this man's mind. But I don't do that anymore. And if you find yourself in a situation that you want to chase, and that is okay, but maybe this time, this window, it will be smaller, and maybe this window of you chasing him is not going to last 3 years anymore. Maybe it will be just 3 months, or maybe just one date. And then the time will come where you'll be like, oh, I see this. I see this could be my new object where I could chase this unavailable love, and you'll be like, no, I shall remove myself from this situation and I shall not jump through this window. You're not going out of your way trying to justify his behavior. When he's behaving in a way that you find it hurtful, you're not trying to justify him by giving him excuses, by going out of your way trying to understand that the reason he's doing that is because of his childhood trauma, because he was neglected by his mother or father, because of his mental health issues, his relationship with alcohol, drugs, gambling, his sex addiction. Instead, you ask yourself, okay, can I accept him for who he is? Am I happy to continue dating this person, to continue being in a relationship with him based on who he is right now? Because if you are thinking that, oh, I'll change him, I'll encourage him to go to therapy, read all the Body Keeps a Score books or whatnot, in the long run, that will just start building a lot of resentment between you two. Another sign that clearly shows you are moving on from chasing emotional unavailable men is that you are not trying to make up future scenarios. When you meet someone great, it's very easy to find yourself daydreaming about the future that you could be having together. I'm all about manifesting whatever you desire. However, before you start manifesting something with someone, it's very important to find out their future goals. What's their vision? What do they actually want in life? Where they are, at what stage they are in life. Do they want to play? Do they want to have a family? What is the goal? So instead of creating all those possible stories, how things could go great, and the future that you could be having together, you're focusing more on actual reality, and you are basing the future and what you want to manifest with this person based on his actions. Can he keep his promises? Is he someone of integrity? Can he even show up on time? You find these things more important than you daydreaming. And if you are daydreaming and you catch yourself daydreaming and thinking of what babies you could have together, be kind to yourself, maybe even smile to yourself. You have this beautiful, vivid imagination, and then go back, check in with yourself, and ask this very simple question. Has this man proven to you, has he shown with his actions that he can be part of your dreams? Now, this one feels incredibly yummy when you start noticing that this is truly happening to you. You no longer put your self-worth into another person's hands. How you view yourself as a woman, your value does not depend on, has he responded to that text message? Has he taken you out, given you compliments, told you how special you are? Because you have a better understanding of who you are as a person, of who you are as a woman. And if someone is not seeing your value, instead of trying to prove something, and instead of trying maybe to change, to get lip injections, mold yourself into the person that you are not, thinking that if I just do that, he will see my worth, he will love me. Instead of doing that, you just recognize, oh, okay, this person cannot see the kind of diamond that I am, and that is okay. Maybe he is into rubies or moonstones. An interesting thing may happen when you finally break the cycle of chasing emotional unavailable men is that you may attract this kind of man, which will present you with its own challenges. And that's something that I talk about in here. Please like this video so it can reach more women. Share this with your girlfriend. Subscribe for more. And thank you so much for watching.